Hey everyone, it's Natalie. Zoom will be on tomorrow. I think I'll be able to hop on for about an hour, and then you guys can just stay on. Please check out my other videos for the Zoom information. I will put it on the bottom of the description box on this. But the first Zoom video, like a few videos down, there's a link, and that link will take you straight there. So it is on Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm here in Texas. Just Google it if you're out of the country or you're in another state, just to make sure that you are on time. So it's so hilarious. Oh no, it's not hilarious. It's so disturbing how these narcissistic mother-in-laws think. And I was thinking about this story, and I haven't really told it. I mean, I've mentioned it, but I haven't told it. But so when me and my husband were dating in high school and in college, his parents were doing everything to break us up. And his mother, this happened on 3 different occasions from being a teenager to him being in college, forced him to go see a psychiatrist and or a psychologist, or both. I'm not sure. I think it was just a psychiatrist maybe. And wanted him to be put on medication for being with me. That happened 3 separate times through the life. So he was going to counseling for a while, being on medication, got off, did this 3 times, right? Through, like, I don't know, maybe it was like a 4-year span. And but I was thinking, like, how crazy is it that a mother thinks that something's wrong with their child for loving another woman? This is how psychotic, this is their thinking. They're not living in the same reality. To put your child on psychiatric drugs because he won't break up with his girlfriend and loves her, it's astonishing. I mean, these people, these mother-in-laws, they cannot bear the fact that their child loves another woman. And that's really what it boils down to. And so I was talking to my husband about this yesterday, and he looks back at that time and he's like, I was like, why did you put yourself on, like, you didn't have to take the medicine. Why did you take the medicine when your mom was forcing you to go? And he basically said, I don't know. I was just doing what she thought was right. So that's how strong of a hold that this lady had over my husband, that even though he knew nothing was wrong with loving me and being with me, he still put himself on medication to appease the monster. And when you're dealing with one of these narcs, I like to say that they live in la la land, because your reality, your assessment of the situation is totally different than the narcissist. So to be in this situation where the narc thinks that something's wrong with their child or something's wrong with you for loving each other, you look at the narcissist and you say, well, why are you married? Why did you date? Why do you love your husband, or why do you love your boyfriends? They can't do any self-reflection. They can't relate to anything that their child is going through in a relationship or in life in general, because they're so self-centered. They think everything revolves around them, and anything that their child is involved with and they don't agree to it, they think something is mentally wrong with their child. Loving someone is a natural part of life. But the narc really tries to make it seem like their child is betraying them. And it has nothing to do with that. It is that as parents, we raise our children to have individuality. I think one of the most important jobs of a parent is letting your child find their true character. It is so important that you allow your children to develop into normal human beings, into men if you have a boy, or into women if you have a girl. But the narc handicaps our husband by not letting them develop their character, develop who they are as people, develop their personalities. This is why the narc attacks their child, because when their child starts to develop who they are outside of the mother, the child is then shamed for it. So this is why we have such a problem with, if you're married to a man, it could be a woman too, but this is why we have such a problem with our men not being able to make any decisions in their life. If you notice, they're so undecisive about everything. The most simplest thing about what they're going to eat, what they're going to wear. And then you have the bigger things that they're undecisive of. And let me tell you something. For about a month, we were going through the paperwork to buy our house, right? We have been saving for years to buy this house, and I loved the house. He loved the house. Everything was good. I was happy. My son was happy because, as y'all know, I travel on the road from state to state working. So we've been on the road since my son was born, and he's 8 now. So he's ready to have friends in a house in a neighborhood. So everything's good. For that month, every minute he could breathe, every time we went into bed to go to sleep, he just didn't know about the house. He was just going through laundry lists of, what if this happened? What if that happens? Are you sure you like the house? Are you sure we're making the right decision? And it is a big decision. I get it. But we've waited so long, and we've looked at hundreds of homes. And this one is the one that I was like, it's so perfect. It had everything that we wanted, and it was at an end of a street, so my son could play, and I don't have to worry about him being hit by a car or whatever. But he drove me so nuts that month. But by week 2.5, 3, I said, he started talking about it at night again. And it's just too stimulating for me, right? I'm suffering with CPTSD, so I can't have any stimulation at night because then I won't go to sleep, because insomnia is associated with CPTSD. So that night, he came back into bed, and I had already told him, please, don't come to bed talking about this anymore. Like, you're keeping me up all night. Now you're having me worry about if we're making the right decision, blah, blah, blah. So by week 3, he comes to bed. I'm half asleep. He's like, hey, let's talk real quick. And I'm like, okay, what? And he starts talking about the house. And I finally said, you know what, Jared? If you don't think this is the right decision, I'm going to leave this in your court. You're the man. You're going to be taking care. I won't be working anymore when we move there. And you're going to be taking care of all the bills. So you do what you think is right. And if you are having this much doubt about it, then it probably isn't the right decision. So then the next day we get up, because I finally just said, I don't even want the house. That's basically what I said it then. I said, I don't even want it. If you're having this much doubt, I don't even want the house. Now I've been waiting so long for a house, but the point of the story is he drove me so crazy about being undecided that I literally, as bad as I wanted the house, I said, I don't even want it anymore. But this is a pure example of them not being able to make any big decisions without their parents' acknowledgement or opinions. Because I do feel like once my husband told his parents and showed his parents the house, they were all excited. They were happy for him, everything, except the fact that his mom had to point out, like, oh, This is how selfish they are. Oh, the master bedroom's not on the bottom floor? Well, remember when I broke my toe? She's like, you should really get a house with the bedroom, your master bedroom on the bottom floor. And it's like, lady, just be happy for your child. But his dad was really excited. His dad gave him an approval of the house and all this. I guess that's what he needed. After that, he stopped talking about the house and instead started talking positive about it and started being happy about it and excited about it. And then when we went and signed the final paperwork and bought it, it was like the best day of his life, the best day of our whole family's life. But even at 38 years old, he was undecided about our house until he got the approval from his parents. And I just don't think this is ever going to leave our husbands, that needing approval from his parent. Of course, his mom wasn't all that excited about it. She has to do this and say that. But his dad, I think the approval from his dad is so much more important than his mom's approval. He's given up on that. But it's just like, though, they're just, because of the control and everything, it's just, everyday life is difficult for them to navigate because they don't know how to navigate their life without their parents. And I think that's why it's really important for us spouses in this situation to help guide them into manhood. Because unfortunately, some of their actions are like children's actions. That undecisiveness and all that. Because I deal with that with my 8-year-old son. He's very responsible. And so when my son has his allowance, it drives me nuts. He literally will go to the same store 5 times looking at the same object. And then when he's satisfied and he's made up his mind, then we go and buy it. But think about it. I have my 8-year-old acting like that. Then I have my husband acting like that. And I'm making all these decisions. And it's exhausting. So that's why it's really important for us women to help build our men's character, to help guide them, navigate them in life, to show them that they are able to make decisions and have their own opinions as a man without their parents' acknowledgement, without their parents' acceptance. And what I always tell the women and men in my coaching, when you're having a partner that is so used to being controlled by their parents, and they have all this undecisiveness, and they don't know why they're doing things, you can become a coach to them. Become their coach. Help them. Be nice about it. Give them support. And when your partner is making these decisions, respect them. Because I know that, like, when we're so, as the wife, having husbands like this, my husband's a scapegoat, so maybe I don't speak on all husbands, but mine is. You're so used to making all the decisions in your household that when your husband starts making decisions, you can't be annoyed by it. You just got to let it happen. You got to let them build their self-esteem and build their decision making, build it up to help support the way they feel. Because sometimes our husband, they don't know how they feel. They don't know if they're sad, happy, angry, whatever. And that's the other thing, at least with my partner, is that because he's been trained to never show emotion, that it takes a lot for him to speak up and tell me how he's feeling. He always keeps it from me. And I also think he might be keeping it from me because at times in the past, not in the recent years, but in the past, when he does talk to me about things, especially about his parents, I would get upset. And I think that was one mistake I made through our journey, is like when he needed to talk about his parents and express his feelings, I would get upset with him. But then I learned self-control, and I learned that our partner is suffering too. I get a lot of slack on here for saying, show your partner some empathy. You know, try to put your feet in their shoes. Now, if they're being abusive, that's a whole other situation, but they need someone to talk to too. And if you do get too upset because they need to talk, then send them to a counselor, but a lot of men won't go. So if you're seeing that your partner is struggling, give them time to talk about it. Even if it's things that you don't want to talk about, make you feel uncomfortable, your partner needs to get it out of their system. They need to talk about it. And I think it's so important to talk about it with your partner, because it builds the bond, the trust between you two. And that can really help you along the way in this journey. Being able to say what you want to each other, and being able to, you know, kind of self-counsel each other. I think it also brings awareness to your partner about how their parent truly is, which in return wakes them up. Because I know being able to talk to my husband about everything with his mother, it really opened his eyes. It really did. And then now we have 2-hour-long conversation, deep conversation. And that deep conversation I felt through the years brought us really close together. And everything that I say, he respects. And, you know, my husband's a good guy, guys. My husband is a really good guy. And I've been really blessed to have a partner who takes my side. It may not seem like it all the time to me, like through all the years, but we are also young. And, you know, being together since we were 15, you know, at that time he had to listen to his parents. And then even when he was in college, he had to listen to his parents. If not, they were pulling those strings of, well, we'll take your college away type of stuff. But I do feel like my husband has stood next to me, even when it seems like he wasn't speaking up. He was doing it in the way he thought he had to approach the situation, since he was trained to be timid and shy and speak in a monotone voice to his parents. That used to piss me off so bad. When he would go, like, tell his parents, this is how he would be. Hey, I don't think that's very nice of you to say that about Natalie or our relationship. Please don't say that. That is how he used to approach the situation. And of course, who's going to respect that? Especially a narcissist? Hell no, they're not. And through the years, I've helped coach him into having that strong, confident voice when he had to deal with his parents. Which in return built his character, built his strength, and built him as a man. They don't realize that they have a voice and they can use it. The narcissist has literally brainwashed their children into thinking that their voice doesn't matter when it does. So guys, be supportive of your husband and try, I'm telling you, if you would just have these deep conversations, not get mad during the conversation, but be neutral in them. Try to understand things from your partner's point of view as well. You will have an easier time of opening your partner's eyes up to the reality of the situation that you're in. Because you have to remember, our husbands have normalized their parents' behaviors for so long that when it's starting to happen to you, the abuse is happening to you, they don't see anything wrong with it. And that's the frustrating part, is when you are bringing this to your partner's attention about the way their parent acts, your partner's just like, well, that's how my parent is. But to you, it's abuse. It's abusive. All the smearing and gaslighting and being manipulative and using cognitive dissonance and deflecting and even mirroring you. It's so, like, you're stuck in this situation. Like, how can my partner be in disagreement with me when I tell him that my in-laws are treating me this way? It's because they've normalized it. They can't see it the way you see it, because you probably didn't come from a narcissistic household. Maybe you have, and that's why you can actually see it a lot sooner than us people who didn't come from a narcissistic cult, because it took me a long time to figure it out. But I've talked to women who do come from narcissistic families, and they're like, within a few months of meeting their boyfriend, they see the narcissism in the mother or in that family, and they're out. They're gone, because they already know like what's going to happen if they stay. But yeah, you know, it's so easy to lose focus, lose track in your marriage. What's really important when you're dealing with the narcissist. But these in-laws, that's what they want. Their goal is to push you out of the family. So they're going to try to cause any havoc, any friction in your marriage. And they do it in a way where, like, you're not even really noticing it at the time that the marriage is getting stressed. It's not until the marriage is stressed you actually realize, like, oh crap, we need to fix our marriage because of the in-law. Because the way the in-law manipulates, it's not all at once. It's over a period of time. And so when you're losing track, losing the focus on your marriage, and you're focusing more on the way the in-law treats you, you have your priorities messed up. You have them messed up. Because the narcissist is stirring one pot, right? And then expects you to be in the pot with them, but the pot of your marriage in the back burner isn't being stirred, so it's burning. You don't want your marriage to burn. You don't want the front pot on your stove to be the narcissist stirring it. You want to make sure that your marriage is the first, like the most important thing in your life, not how the narcissist treats you. And the other thing is, quit taking it so personal that the narcissist doesn't like you. And I really probably need to make another video on this, because this one's already 22 minutes long. But remember, it didn't matter who it was that entered into your partner's life, the same outcome of this situation would happen. It has nothing to do with you, that you just happen to be in their child's life, so they nitpick and find faults and flaws in you. And like I tell all the women, you have to get your husband to understand that no matter who he chose, this was going to happen to him. So take yourself out of the situation. I found it a lot easier when I took myself out of the situation and looked at it like, well, it didn't matter if it was Becky, Annie, or whoever down the street that he married. You know, the mother-in-law was going to treat the woman like this regardless. And so should I take it personally, or should I be like, you know what? I don't even care. Say whatever you want about me. It's not affecting me. I don't care what you have to say, because I know it's not me. I know it's not me with the problem. So you start having this attitude like, whatever, like, say whatever you want. Quit letting it affect you to the point that you're stressed out all day. You're having hypervigilance all day. That's like living in a nightmare. That's what these soldiers that come back from war that have PTSD, they have hypervigilance. So that's why, like, they have these nightmares and all this stuff going on with them mentally, because of the hypervigilance, waiting for the next bomb to explode, waiting for the next gunfire. You gotta just knock that out and be like, you know what? Psh, please, woman, say and do whatever you want. Say and do whatever you want, because I don't really care. That's the type of attitude you have to start having. And that attitude gets under the narcissist's skin so badly, because they want that reaction. They want you to get mad at them so they can play the victim, turn to everyone and smear you about your reaction. But when you don't react and you stop caring, you infuriate that narcissist. You really do, because how dare you not react to their negativity? They need that attention. So it's 25 minutes. All right. Peace, love, and harmony. This video is all over the place. Excuse it. But hey, bye.